Leo Vollebregt is from a family of Dutch immigrants who came to New Zealand in the 1950s. Leo was the 1987 Scalar Up Young Farmer of the Year. This year, Leo and his wife Rebecca were the supreme winners of the Farm Environment Awards. Leo is also chair of the Wairarapa Water Users Group. The Vollebregts have invested not only in farm and business development, but also in conserving and restoring the historical features of the property.
The history of the farm is that it's the second sheep station in New Zealand. After the First World War, the government took over some of the good bits of the land to rehab soldiers. They were put on to 20-hectare dairy farms. So that was the start of the dairy industry here. I bought this farm off one of the soldier settlers' sons in 1984. A good soil, it's got some historic buildings on it, it's got a bit of native bush, some big old trees that were planted by the first settlers. Very lucky. Nice property. We've got an effective hectares on this farm of 154. We peak milk 580 cows. It's a higher stocking rate. We expect lower per cow production, and it's per hectare that we focus on and profit. Inputs are low inputs. We bring in about 120 tonne of silage from our runoffs a year, and probably about 20 or 30 tonne of palm kernel strategically as required. And we apply about 200 k of N per hectare to grow grass. Grass to milk is our focus. Once a day has proven more attractive to getting staff and retaining staff. They seem to have reasonable work hours and enjoy those, and we don't have the turnover that we used to have. We employ a contract milker, Emma Moffat. This is the end of her second season with us. Prior to that, she was the herd manager on the farm, and a few years before she had been relief milking, and she employs 2 full-time staff members. We peaked a couple of years ago at 1420 a hectare, kilograms of milk solids. We're sitting around the 1350. That seems to be where we're at the moment. We're constantly improving pastures, so we see some potential for upside on that. The water comes from 2 bores from underground aquifers. They are considered connected to the river, so when river flows are low, we are required to irrigate for 12 hours a day instead of 24. Increased availability of water, we'll have to consider what the options are for there, whether we have to look at storage here or larger storage schemes. I see potential in that in the Wairarapa. We did a major redevelopment of our effluent system 2 years ago. We could see that what we had was not up to scratch, or certainly not going to be up to scratch in the future. So we started from scratch, employed a consultant who was accredited by Dairy NZ. He redesigned our whole system, new pipework, designed our pond. Before we built the pond, we got the soils assessed. We looked at what we have on the S-map and got them verified by Land Division. We dug a bunch of holes to see what was low risk, how much low risk soils we had, and how much high risk soils we had. And we laid our system out to utilise the low risk soils. And then we built a pond. The pond was required to be 500 cubic metres. We said we didn't want to spread effluent during August because that's a really busy time of year for our staff. So we've doubled it in size, and it's a 1,000 cubic metre pond. Effectively, it's probably about 3 months worth. But we don't produce a lot of effluent on this farm. Reasonably small holding area in the dairy, and we milk the cows once a day. So we have less effluent being produced every day. With Overseer and with our Fonterra nutrient budgets and nutrient assessments, we see that we're leaking about 25 kilograms of N into the to water. This is considered reasonably good, and I guess we'll learn a lot more in the future as to how to make it even better. The farm is boundaried by the Ruamahanga River, but the farm effectively drains into Lake Wairarapa. And there's a significant project underway at the moment called Wairarapa Moana, which is looking at improving the quality of the water going into the lake and thereby improving the quality of the lake water. One of the features of once a day on this farm is that the cows get in calf quick. So we produce a lot of AI heifer calves every year, more than we require. We graze out 100 of them off farm, and the rest are grazed on our runoffs. And we put into the herd about 20% replacements. That's 125, and so we'll have anything from 50 to 75 to sell every year. So really that's added a significant amount to our bottom line. Another benefit of this improved mating and the surplus young stock to sell is we speed up the genetic improvement of the herd. We're putting in always the best AI heifers as replacements, and we've seen a significant improvement in our herd BW and PW.
For years we've been asked to enter the Balance Awards, but we've sort of shied off it, thinking, oh no, we don't need to do that. We don't need the accolades of winning any awards or anything like that. But actually we decided this year it's a good thing to put a good farm in front of everybody so that they can see that we are looking after the environment and the animals and the whole picture, really. We want to have a good product at the end of it and to be able to export it to other countries and feel that we're trustworthy, really.
Our main aim is for our children to be able to do whatever they want, and we'll support them in doing that. And succession planning, we run a profitable business, running it the way we do, looking after some of the whole buildings and preserving the bush and the rivers. And whoever takes over this farm, our family or not, has that to follow on.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.